The show, Marsha. Thank you for joining me at this time. And
Hi, thanks for having me.
no worries. So just to introduce a little bit about you. So you've been doing marketing for quite some time, and you're in a company called
Mhm.
SEM Dynamics. Do you mind
Yes,
expanding for people that don't know who you are?
absolutely. So I've been in the marketing space for many, many years. I used to work in a marketing agency where we managed a ton of different clients. And then from there, I worked in-house at a law firm where we did really well. And that's also where I met my business partner, Matthew Post, and we started SEM Dynamics. And basically what we do is we're a digital marketing company. We really specialize in helping lawyers become visible online and actually retain clients and improve their ROI from marketing campaigns.
Okay. And what made you choose the specific space of the lawyer attorney? Why did you go down that route?
Because we're working at a law firm, we really saw a lot of things that weren't quite working when we were talking to digital marketing companies. Their approaches were great, especially since I did work with different variety of clients before. The approaches were right, but they were not necessarily the right fit in the legal industry. And it became kind of natural transition for us once we decided to start a company instead of working in-house to stick with the legal field and do what we know. And we know there's a need for it.
Okay. Swinging it back to the marketing world,
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you a few. I've got written down a few questions here. What are the fundamentals of a good website? What should every website have?
Okay, that's a great question. So I'm going to start with once you get to a website, it really needs to let the users know right away that they are in the right place, that what they're looking for is where they landed, we're going to find the answers. And generally, that is where we do see a lot of times people go wrong. When you land on a website, and hypothetically, let's say I am looking for a lawyer, I want to make sure that this is the right lawyer for me. Or if we're looking for a dentist, that can this dentist help me with root canal, for example, and is in my area. So we need to really answer the main question, am I in the right place? And can you help me?
Yep.
And then from there, we're going to look into our website speed. Is it loading fast? Am I able to actually look it up on my phone? Because most people are searching on the phone right now. We're also going to be looking, what is the call to action? And sometimes if it's a local business, people might want to look up directions or call the business. And quite often, some businesses, especially smaller businesses, will be missing some of the basic ways to contact them.
Yeah.
Another huge factor is trust. Having a website is not enough. We need to create trust. And this could be in the form of reviews. It could be different badges, awards, but we need to create some sort of trust that people know that, yes, they can help me and I trust them to do a good job for me. Or I trust this product to do exactly what it says it's going to do.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think and that kind of takes us to another. We're talking about showing us that we're in the right place. We need to see that not just a best customer service. Everyone's saying that, but you need to quantify. You have to really qualify that you are what you are.
Would you say that
And
that's where the reviews and all the reviews come into play? That's why it's good to have all those testimonials on your website?
absolutely, yes. And in addition to reviews, you can also, let's go with the example of best customer service. You want to say we have a huge, maybe 1,000 phone calls we answer every day. We need to add more value than just say we're the best. You have to really show numbers. Are you the best? How are you the best?
I'd just like to actually, speaking of websites, I've got I'd just like to put a plug into my website. I'm doing a podcasting website, and for those that want to know, it's down the bottom of the screen, apecontent.com. And if you don't mind, Marsha, is it okay if I bring up the website? And just I've brought it up now, but I just wanted to get your opinion on the website. This is the website that I've been working on at the moment, Ape Content. but I think for me, I don't have any much testimonial because I've just started this sort of business.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'd love to get your feedback on the website. If you need me to scroll down or anything,
Yeah, so let's scroll down. Let's see what else.
it's very bare at the moment. As I said, I've just started it. I've got the services, so I want to promote podcasting services.
Let's
So
see.
yeah. So it's mainly directed to. I've got one testimonial.
That's a great start, especially for new business. As you grow, you'll add more to it. But for a new website, that's a great start. And so I think when you're looking at the content, I think overall, this is great. Think of when you talk about, you're going to help them podcast, like be more like, what are the results? Are they going to, you're going to help them grow? You're going to help them monetize, like try to add value for them to really be like, oh, this is a person, because it's not just services. Like it's kind of create the like exactly what are you going to deliver at the end of the day? Like, why should I go with you versus someone else?
So you're saying you need to have those quantifiable results. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you can add those, and I know sometimes it's hard in the beginning,
Yeah.
especially if you don't have that yet. But there is something you should think and work and benchmark. So whenever you work with a new client, you can benchmark the results you got them. Then you could turn to a case study, which is always great. After a case study, we can add it to the website, be like, these are the type of results we can get our clients, and differentiate yourself from your competitors, essentially.
No worries. All right. Well, thank you for having a look at that. And I guess another question that I was coming to mind with this podcasting business that I have, I don't have any clients, and some people have suggested the idea to work for free. What are your opinions, just to build a portfolio, what are your opinions of working for free?
You know, I've heard that too. And when we started, I was reading about it. I'm not a huge fan. And here's why. You could, let's say, work as your time is valuable. And especially if you're putting any investment into it, you could do a discount. So maybe you charge a little bit less because you don't have that trust yet. But the goal is to work with them, get those results, use them as a case study, get a testimonial from your clients. But once again, you're still putting your time into it. So personally, if you don't have anything, at least like discount, make it work so it works both ways. But if you're working for free, then, I mean, is it worth it for you at the end of the day? Maybe it could be something else where it's not free.
I guess the challenge is trying to get your foot in the door, because I have done some cold calling as well, and it's very difficult to do cold calling. And yeah, I guess the only reason I suggest doing free work is someone suggested, to do free work. And I think it's a very desperate, I don't know. Yeah, I'm a bit confused about that. But moving on to the next question, advertising with Google AdWords, do you have any positive case studies or anything you can share about SEM Dynamics and your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually in the process of adding case studies so they're easier to find. But one of the case studies is we had a client, we've been working with them for quite some time. And when we started working with them, they didn't do Google Ads. They know other competitors were doing it. And they're really trying to create visibility. But the main concern was their cost per case for a new client. So when we started was we established a baseline. And generally when you start Google Ads, you're going to improve over time. So while working with them, we're able to get them more cases, and we were able to lower cost per case throughout from like every single month. We saw like a cost per new client for them go down. So that was like a really beautiful case study, because it shows not only that within the same budget, you can increase your cases, but you can also get more quality leads if you really know how to optimize and make it work for you.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay. And what about people like, I guess, businesses that are just starting out and they want to dip their toes in the water? how much do you recommend an amount of money to invest in Google AdWords, or does it all depend? Is it a complicated question, or?
It absolutely depends.
Yeah.
And here's kind of what I'm going to start with. Generally speaking, some of the more like what people are saying online is you want to invest about 5 to 10% of your revenue into marketing. Now, depending how competitive your industry is, for example, if you're in legal, it's a little bit more competitive. Your cost per clicks are a lot more expensive. So the number is going to be higher, probably between 10 to 15%. But it really depends on business. Are you doing any other marketing, or is Google Ads the only thing you're doing? And then take it further when it comes to whether it's even the right approach is there's like formula that I kind of calculate before we start any campaign. And the things I look at is within your industry, what is the cost per click? And what is the budget you can work with? Now from there, we're going to work backwards. So now we know our cost per click, we have our budget, we can estimate how many clicks we're going to get. Now, out of those clicks, we need to estimate if that's going to be profitable. So if you know your click to lead ratio or click to sales ratio, makes it much simpler. If you don't know exactly, you're going to have to go do some estimates on what those are. But let's say you have $100 a click and your budget's $1,000. That's really not giving you much room. That's very low margins. So if you don't get any leads, or if your lead to conversion rate is low, is that profitable? What is the value of your sale? Is the value of the sale in this situation $1,000 or $10,000? Now we can really estimate, is Google Ads the right approach? Am I going to spend more than I'm going to make? And in some industries, it might be expensive if you don't have a big budget. Others, your cost per click could be much, much cheaper. So if you are in an industry where cost per clicks maybe a couple dollars, that's a whole different ballgame.
What about content? Like videos? Is there anything that you recommend? Is there any? Yeah, for a video, would you recommend? Yeah.
So for video, there's really two big platforms for that. So we're talking about the YouTube video, which is through Google, and we can also do video on social media, which is also a great approach because more and more people are using videos. I mean, even like Instagram, we're all using videos at this point more than pictures. So video is a really great strategy, but you have to know your audience. Now, are your clients on social media, YouTube, or both? And then from there, we need to work backwards. If we're talking about YouTube, we're going to have a little bit different strategy from social media. So for YouTube, the best way to approach it is, are you creating organic content or ads? If you're doing organic content, that means really think of what questions are your customers asking. And at what point are they asking those questions that different sales funnel they're in? So if they're just doing research, create videos, answer those questions. Don't be salesy, just educate them. And the closer you get to the funnel, when they're ready to make a purchase or contact the company, that's when you pitch in and add some testimonials. I mean, you really have to drive them up the funnel depending where they are. But to start with the basic. What do they want to know? Who are my clients? What questions they're asking? And start creating content.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of bringing it back to apecontent.com. I am trying to I'm trying to pick my social networks very carefully because I had a business before and I had a shotgun approach where I advertised to every social media, and now this is my second kind of website, blog sort of website online, and now I'm very specific with who I'm targeting on social media. So I guess I've just used YouTube and Facebook. That's all. So I'm hoping that my target audience will be on those platforms. So yeah, I guess I would be starting advertising on YouTube, and yeah, I have a video organized, but yeah, it's just the money. It's how how much money do you want to invest? And those are the questions that I'm kind of asking myself. How much? Yeah, because it is a bit of a risk at the end of the day, I guess. When you
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why if you're not really sure, just create some content and just post it out there and optimize it. Can think of like SEO for YouTube, put in your keywords. I mean, really kind of optimize and see if people are watching it, and then kind of build off of that. I think being organic and really being true to your message helps versus just trying to, because I've seen a lot of videos of people like, I gotta sell, so I'm gonna promote myself and say how awesome I am. And those are not going to really do anything for you because no one wants to hear about how great you are. Everyone's interested in themselves, really. So if you're gonna tell them how they can improve or what they need to do, and then you create trust, that will actually have them come back to you for more videos and maybe for your services.
Yeah, what I'm learning in sales is I think you mentioned it just before the hard sale. It's I mean, in sales you should never go for the hard sale. You should always try and your selling approach should always be through testimonials and through I guess like social validation or something like that. Like people come to you because you have a quality product.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion on the hard sale? Or yeah, what's your opinion on the hard sale?
It's all about timing. It works
It's all about
great
timing.
when
Okay.
you're actually doing it for people who are basically they already know about you. They're want your services. When they're like really at the top of the funnel, they're like, okay, I'm ready. Push them over. That's when hard sell is perfect, and that's when you can also put limited time offers, like so things to like really motivate to make the last step. But if someone who has no idea who you are and they see that video, they're gonna be like, well, I don't know who this guy is, whatever, next video. So it's
That's right,
all
yeah.
about timing.
I experienced that because I used to I have another website, myhealthmotivator.com, and I was selling ebooks and I was using Facebook ads to sell ebooks. But I figured out I got one or two sales, but I figured out that it's very difficult to hard sell to the public when people don't really know who you are. It's like someone off the street trying to sell you a watch, and you don't really want the watch. So I feel like you have to become like a thought leader in that space before people trust you. Yeah, you have to build a lot of trust online, especially. You know, they speak about, oh, you can become an online millionaire overnight. You know, it doesn't work like it's so difficult. It takes a lot of hours, a lot of work to build that trust in people, I guess.
Absolutely. And I think that's when like taking what you're good at and like taking what you already have and kind of focusing on that. So like I know you have a lot of videos already out there. Focus on that. Talk about like how you got there. People want to know. It's not easy. Not everyone can do it. So focus on what you already have and kind of use that to build and grow. I think that's going to be gives you a great advantage point from someone who's just starting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And all right. So multiple ways how to get website traffic, paid and non-paid.
All right. So there's like obviously.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So if we're talking about paid, Google and any Google ads, a great way. Bing ads still have some traffic. So paid ads, great. Social media, paid and non-paid, also depending on whether your audiences are on there, might be a great opportunity. With social media, I think I'm gonna just like point out that if you're running social media ads specifically, people are not necessarily there looking to make a purchase. So you have to use that mindset that they might need a little bit more work to actually convert. So if you're doing like lead forms, you need to call them. So it's a bit more work, but once again, depending on your product, they're there to have fun. So you need to create content that will reflect their mindset that they're in. In addition to social media, we also can do, if you think of like, there's like a lot of question and answer sites, Reddit, Quora, depending, once again, like where your audience hangs out, you can do some research and be on those platforms. think of what websites are they on. You can either sponsor those websites or run ads on those websites.
Can I just intercept there? Sorry. You mentioned Reddit and Quora. My experience has always, it hasn't been the most pleasant experience because yet again, back to the hard sale. You can't really go into these communities and pitch your product 24/7. It's, yeah, you have to go into this community and provide value. This is what.
Yes.
So it takes time. Like I was of the expectation that you could jump into these communities and overnight people would know you, but you actually have to contribute to these communities. And yeah, so.
Yeah, if you want like instant sales, that's not what we're talking about, but people actively looking for a type of business. So really we have organic search engine optimization is a great way to get that, but that takes time. Or running ads such as Google ads. That's when people are actively looking for you and they find you. They should ideally convert if everything else aligns. But if there are other ways you can generate the trust and it takes longer, but you don't have to pay per click or per ad. Now, this is other ways to get that a little bit faster depending on your expertise. And I think that's really comes back to, can you provide people information to establish yourself as an authority or someone they can trust?
Yep. Okay. Does SEM Dynamics, do they have like build authority, or can you speak a little bit about, yeah, are you guys blogging or on social media, or I'm just curious to find out.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways to build authority, really. One of those ways is, depending on the business, being like, if you follow HARV, for example, when help reporter out, there'll be different reporters like need help with articles. So agencies such as ours and like other businesses can follow, and when the topic is relevant to your industry, you can reply to a reporter and give them facts and information and whatever they need. And that's a great way for them to write their article and then mention what you said, and that builds authority. That establishes you that not only you say you know this, there's other sources that go to you for as a resource to answer the questions. So that's one way.
Sorry to cut you. Was that harrow.com?
Yes.
Yeah.
Help
a report. I've heard about, yeah, okay. So, okay, I've heard about that website before. So basically it's a website to, how would you summarize the website?
It's a website where reporters go to if they're writing articles and they need resources, that they need someone to talk about a very specific topic. So for example, let's say I'm writing a story about recent accident that happened in the city, and you want a lawyer to comment on it and talk about the legalities and what it really means. Great way to come as a lawyer, explain what that means and the effects it's going to have on the laws. And there you go. You have your quote in there. And there's, for marketing, what we do, there's always people asking questions about marketing, so we can do that. And there's no matter what industry you're in, there's going to be something. There might not be questions about your industry all the time, but when they come up, they're very valuable.
Yeah.
And in addition to HARV, so what we do is we do podcasts, and me and my business partner, we record videos and we talk about different trends in marketing. Podcasts, videos, we explain what's really happening, share information. Blog posts are great, but if they live on your website and no one goes to your website, there's only so much value you can get from them. But if you're guest posting on other sites that have a lot of traffic and where your customers already are, that's creating value.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's actually a very good point. So, yeah, because I was blogging in hopes that Google would, I think you try to rank in Google, but it's very difficult to rank in Google. So, yeah, as the alternative, I think that's a good alternative to go to these high traffic websites. I might have to try that. I might have to try that one out.
Yeah, because
Okay.
and even for to rank with Google, blogging on its own is not going to get you the rank. There's a lot that goes into the equation to get you that
Yeah.
visibility and search engine.
What about backlinks? Do you play around with backlinks?
Every SEO campaign should have backlink strategy part of it. And that's because if you can have the best website in the world, but if there's no traffic to it and no one's linking to it, you're probably not going to get visibility. Backlinks are part of the equation. And a lot of the times when we think of backlinks, we think of all of the strategies that people have been talking about for a long time, but there's a way to get those links organically and things I mentioned to create kind of establish yourself as an expert in the industry applies to backlinks. If Haro writes a link about, like a reporter writes about you, they mention your company. If they add a link, there you go, there's a link. If not, at least a mention, that still counts. If you're guest posting, if you're a restaurant and you write something on a travel site, hopefully you have a link to your business from there. And that's a backlink and that's relevant. So not only do you create authority, people who might be interested in your business are going to see it, but you also add a backlink. And there's a ton of different strategies, of course, but those are the easy ones if you want to do it yourself. Just think of where can I help my ideal customers and where are they so I can show them my information.
Yes, because there's a lot of illegal ways that you can get backlinks. I know you can go to Fiverr and you type in, give me free backlinks. And yeah, I know Google does not like that at all. And yeah, I think you can even check toxic backlinks or somewhere or something. Yeah. I mean, it's so,
you can get punished.
You can get punished. You'll get punished by Google. Absolutely. But yeah, absolutely. And is there anything else that you can add to the conversation with your experience? Because I know that you've got your own podcast. Actually, yeah, let's talk about your podcast. How's that going for you?
I honestly started as a challenge. I was challenged to just podcast about topics I know. And for me personally, I can talk about marketing all day, every day. Like I love data and analysis. And it started as a challenge, but it turned into something that I actually really enjoy. So for me, when depending on what's going on, if I have a question from a client or if I'm on the forum and I see something, I'm like, oh, that's a topic. Let's talk about it. So it ended up being into just basic general marketing podcast where I can talk about topics that I think are relevant and people might want answers for. And some of these, I think, almost like little tricks that I've learned throughout the years of marketing, and some of the just some basic information that I've seen people get wrong quite often. So I just try to simplify and explain it in a way so it makes sense to all of us.
Do you mind if we just, so for those listening right now, this is Marsha's podcast, Marketing with Marsha, and it's pretty cool. I had a look at it before we had this conversation, and it's got some good information, and it's all like your podcast episodes are kind of short, 6 minutes, and they're kind of easy to digest. I was looking at one yesterday. I can't remember. Oh yeah, that's right. How to get the website, ways to get website traffic that converts. That's right. Yep. So guys, I'm giving a shout out to this. You guys should subscribe to this podcast. And subscribe to mine as well.
Yes.
So, and what's your how long have you been? I'll just check your first episode was in September 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And okay, so you've been going for almost coming up to a year now. Okay. What's been your biggest what have you learned the most through hosting your own podcast?
I think for me, it was really the challenging part for me personally is talk about marketing in simple terms, because I'm very technical and I use a lot of very technical terms, and I had to learn and like force myself to explain it in a way that someone who doesn't know marketing will understand. Because my goal is to make it very easy to digest for like small business owners, or like a lot of times I'm thinking of lawyers who don't have marketing experience, but they want to do some of these things, and how to even understand what their marketing agency is telling them, or how to do it themselves. So taking out all of the technical jargons and just very simple, easy to digest explanations of concepts and strategies that have worked for me and my clients, and I think everyone should look into.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And what equipment do you? I'm just curious about the equipment that you use. Are you using just like your iPhone, or are you using a microphone, or yeah?
Yeah, so I'm using Blue Yeti mic. I've tried using my phone, and honestly, like I have an iPhone, and the quality of the sound just wasn't there. And I think whether you do video or podcast, sound is the most important thing. So we got Blue Yeti mic that's been working really well for me. And I just for right now I'm using low G camera, but for my podcast it's all about the mic. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah,
mic is the only thing I would invest in.
You've got a pretty high definition camera. So is that a webcam, or is that a
I actually just this is a new one. It's a webcam that I just attached to the top of my monitor.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's very good. Okay, cool. All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to the conversation?
I do. And I want to kind of take it back to the first question you asked me, because there's a couple of things that I didn't get a chance to touch on, and it just came back to me.
Sure.
So when we talk about websites, one thing that I think is overlooked quite often is not everyone's going to come to your website through your homepage. And when we're building websites, we assume they're going to go to homepage, they're going to get all of our messaging, and then they're going to go to our product or service pages. But a lot of the times, they will enter your website through a service page. So for example, I'm going to use my company as an example. They're not going to probably search for my company name. They're going to search for SEO for lawyers. And when that happens, when they land on our page that talks about the SEO services, we need to treat it in a way that as if they just got to your website. They need to understand that they're in the right place, that we can help them, how we can help them, and why us versus our competitors, why our products are superior. And a lot of the times when we look at other sites, people forget that. So they will either try to do a hard sale at this point, or they forget contact information. Service pages are great to include testimonials. They're great to include trust badges. I mean, think of it as almost your second homepage.
Okay. So yeah, I can see that. So SEM Dynamics. So you would be targeting those keywords, SEO for lawyers. So okay. So speaking of keywords, is there any system that you guys employ, or any system structure that you follow by when using keywords?
We do a lot of keyword research. So one of the things we do is, and also kind of goes into as similar concept, is we look at what people are more likely to type into Google who are ready to hire our services. So our main pages, they're dedicated for those like high intent. Blogs, that's when you do more of the low intent. That's when they're doing research and they want to find out, how do I do keyword research? Great blog topic. They're not ready to hire you. Maybe they're doing on their own, but that's when you give them an answer and you create trust, because you're telling them, this is how to do this. These are the steps. This is what you look at. And now in their mind, you are the expert. You're giving them good answer. And I hope you give them a good answer in that. Otherwise, wasting your time. And if they have next question, they come back to your site, or maybe they're like tell other people, oh, here's a great link, look at it. And after a while, if they're ready to hire you, they already know that you know what you're talking about. You have proved that because you already helped them before. So those are the pages that shouldn't push for a sale because they're not high intent. And for keyword research, we're going to do our research. We're going to find out what people are searching for, what questions are they asking, and then from there decide what we're going to target. Are we going to target those keywords for our main pages? Are they going to be blog pages? And which keywords do we even want to focus on? Because if you don't have the time to do a lot of SEO, look for keywords that are likely to convert, but maybe lower traffic. Lower competition. So, for example, Google ads for family law, in my case. That's very, very specific keyword we're talking about. So maybe if I don't have a huge budget to do a lot of content, we want to focus on something that's a little bit more long tail. We're going to get less clicks to our website, but when they're typing for it, that point we're like, okay, these are the people who are ready to hire our services, okay. Of course. And then you can apply the concept to products, other types of businesses. So it's really about intent and what you're able, like, what are your abilities? What can you do? Because if you don't have a lot of resources, don't go after the high volume keywords because they're ones that have a ton of competition, because you don't have the resources to compete for those keywords. So compete for the ones you do have resources to compete for.
Okay. And what system how are you getting these keywords? Are you using it through Google Keyword Planner, or I know there's various tools that you can use these days. What are the tools that you're using?
We do have several tools we use. Keyword Planner, I think, is a great start. You can also use Ahrefs to kind of see people typing. One of the easiest things, if you don't have any tools, if you just go to search engine, type in your keyword and look at suggested, and you can also look at questions people are asking. That can also give you top click ideas, as well as what else you can add.
Okay, cool. No worries.
But Ahrefs and Google Trends are probably some of the best ones.
Some of the best ones. Okay. Mm-hmm. Very, very cool. All right. I know Neil Patel. He's dominating SEO at the moment. He's all over SEO. Every time I go to Google, his articles come up. So it's I think he's got a free tool, Neil Patel. So
yeah, he's great.
I'm giving him free traffic. So guys, I should be getting some commission from that or something, affiliate money or something. I don't know. All right. Well, if there's nothing more that you wanted to add to the conversation, Marsha, or
I think that's, let me go through because I have some notes that I put together. But I think we covered almost everything I really wanted to focus on, especially when it comes to website optimization. If you guys have questions, anything specific, let us know and we can answer those later on too. We could do a follow-up podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we're live now. We've got 4 people watching. No one's asking any questions. They must don't be shy, guys. Ask some questions. This is a good opportunity. If you have any website questions, you can ask them now. Otherwise, while you guys are thinking of a question, we're going to play a game. And the game is called, come on. All right, guess the song. So.
Oh, no. I'm not going to be good at this. Let's do it.
All right, so this is the first one.
X-Files.
Yeah, that was easy. All right, second one.
I can see the show in my vision, in my brain, but I don't recall it. Seinfeld?
Close. Very close. Do you give up?
Yes.
Curb Your Enthusiasm by Larry David.
Oh, that's right.
He was the creator of Seinfeld. Yeah.
Good show.
And last one. This is a remix, by the way. Surely you know it.
No idea.
No? All right.
I give up. What is it?
All right. I'm going to show you an image. This is, give me one. Surely you know this guy. Where is he? Here he is.
Oh!
Yep. All right. No
Oh, I
worries.
should've
All
known
right.
that one.
Well, that was the Guess the Song game. You've got 1 out of 3. So I can't believe you didn't get Barney. I thought, did you ever watch Barney as a child or?
No, I haven't. So I came to the US in '98. So
Right.
all of the kids stuff I kind of missed out on. So when I
Oh, that
came in, I
makes
was
sense.
watching like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So anything like late '90s, thousands, I got mostly. And then before that,
Okay. And what was your background? What's your heritage?
yeah, I'm from Ukraine. So I grew up there up until like 6th grade, and then I came to LA and been here ever since.
Wow. And what made you make the move to LA?
My family moved. I didn't really have much say, but I'm glad they did. Definitely can imagine living anywhere else.
No worries. All right. And how are you finding LA? Is it I know that like lockdown is it's pretty intense at the moment, or
we're actually lifted the lockdown for the most part. So for like almost a year, I mean, everything was closed. Depending which part of California you're in, like Los Angeles was very strict. So we barely really left the house, like for grocery stores and maybe go running. But other parts of California were less strict. So like Orange County, that we could see people kind of going out more. But for the most part, glad it's that everything has been lifted so we can go outside again.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries. Cool, guys. All right. Well, we've kind of covered websites that convert, and no one's asked any questions. I'm a bit sad. I'm a bit disappointed, but that's all right. I'm sure people will ask in the comments later. All right. No worries. We might end the show there. Might end the podcast. Thank you for your time there, Marsha, and thank you guys for watching. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. Have a good rest of your day, guys.